Hello, everyone. My name is Brent Barlow, and this is Blue Light Daily, a discussion of relevance and import. We are broadcasting on this Monday, January 19th, 2026. It is the noon hour, 8 p.m. GMT. Here we honor the importance of public debate and the requirement of civility, the necessity of education and the strength of knowledge, the value of coming together, and the power of collaboration. Before we begin, we pause to reflect and focus on our purpose, breathing in deeply, aligning with intention, dreaming the I'm possible. Assisted by ancestors, powered by providence, rooted in reverence. The word spoken, the path clear, the way cool. Let us build what is worthy. Let us remember the dream forgotten. Let's make some magic together now. Ashe Madase. Today's word of the day is ephemeral. Ephemeral is an adjective, my definition. The quality of being transitory, momentary, a thing that comes and goes often quietly, like smoke. The dictionary definition, a thing that lasts only for a very short time. The look back, the day in history. Today we celebrate two birthdays. First, Janis Lyn Joplin, who was born January 19th, 1943. Janis Joplin was an American singer and songwriter who became a prominent figure in 1960s rock and blues. She is known for her powerful, emotional mezzo-soprano vocals and electrifying stage presence. Joplin helped redefine the role of women in rock with her assertive and sexually forthright persona. Janis Joplin. Also, Dolly Rebecca Parton was born January 19th, 1946, a couple of years after. Dolly Parton is an American singer, songwriter, actress, businesswoman, and philanthropist. With a career spanning 60 plus years, 50 studio albums, and having written a staggering 3,000 plus songs. Her debut album released in 1967, the year I was born. Extra credit today, the first BlackBerry device hits the market January 19th, 1999. And so the birth of the smartphone. Our quote of the day today is from Edgar Allan Poe, born January 19th, 1809. Edgar Allan Poe was an American writer, poet, editor, and literary critic who is best known for his poetry and short stories, particularly his tales involving mystery and the macabre. Quote, "Those who dream by day are cognizant of many things, which escapes those who dream only by night." Ladies and gentlemen, this broadcast is intended to serve as a platform to talk, share, learn, and grow. At La Bella Bee, we embrace the ephemeral nature of the dreams that only we can dream. And seizing upon this moment, we come together in community to build a world worthy of our children. And so here I speak, directly and honestly, sharing a vision for a world secure for generations to come. Issues of concern across the globe grow so numerous, we have become desensitized and matters fester. Some see the moment as opportunity, and while greed, glut, and power continue to coalesce in the hands of the few, there are those who desire a better outcome, who have a tremendous capacity for good and who are ready to take back some control. Friends, we can either continue accepting more of the same or we can make different choices and take collective action. And so I offer my take on current conditions and where I think things are headed. One question is, who is hearing this message? Point of personal privilege, today is MLK Day. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I will take a moment to recognize that my surroundings, which I'm still trying to figure out the best place, the setting for broadcasting up here. This is our Eastern Sierra Alt Studio, which I suspect we'll be doing more broadcasting from. But Um, on this MLK Day, I will admit, as I've been sharing, that I am still pretty raw, and I'm going to check in for those who use this broadcast to confirm both my physical well-being and my mental health. Uh, the raw continues, and I got nothing but quality problems. I am a white male living in the United States of America right now. I got nothing to complain about, but I will complain nonetheless. Uh, here is, I thought guys might like to see this. I got to look up the name of the wood shop teacher at Portola Middle School that I made this for my father, Stuart J. Barlow, and he has this up on his desk up here at the Eastern Sierra Old Studios. And, I got to admit that in the category of quality problems, dealing with the family cabin, your second home up in the mountains is not anything to complain about. But we're going on almost 2 months. And here I am dealing with stuff. And the one thing that I'm probably most bitter about, most upset about, is I can't just pick up the phone and ask him a question. There are things around here that I'm calling Stewies that I have resolved probably 10 or 12 fire hazards. He had extension cords that had power strips plugged in them, that had other power strips plugged into those, that had extension cords plugged into those. Wires running nowhere. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to be me in today, in the moment. I would like to say happy birthday to a dear friend of mine, Eric Cohen, friend of the show, a fellow resident up here, and a good guy. He's leading the chase by a couple of years. Known him since I was 15. Also, I'm going to mention Christine Dianello, Sheffield J. Um, in this challenge of the moment, I'm so grateful for the love and the friendships, the family, the support. And, I guess we all have our own definitions of friends, and it can be contextual. I have a friend that's a work friend. I've got a friend that I grew up with. I've got a friend who's a neighbor. But the reality is that a friend in my book, at its core, is somebody that you have an affinity for, and who's going to pick up the phone when you call them, and who is going to care to hear and listen and be and support, and again, extend their love. So Chris is struggling at the moment, and I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention her GoFundMe page is with regard to her husband, Matthew J., who had spinal fusion surgery, and it went kittywampus, and now the dude is laid up and not well. And I just wanted to bring some attention to the struggles that Chris and her husband are facing at the moment. Extend my love and support. I've spoken to a bunch of people these last few days since I've been up here. Christine being one of them, and again, she's somebody that I've known forever. And secondly, I'd like to mention Dina Dahl. Dina Dahl is a friend of mine for some time, and she's doing a great job with her social media. She's now been on CNN. She's basically an attorney and a legal commentator and doing great work. I just wanted to call her out. I remember speaking with her a couple of years ago at her home, talking about all the things she wanted to do, and she has been doing it. And I just wanted to call her out and say, so today we're going to talk for a bit about all the craziness, talk about what's acceptable, You know, I guess I'm going to repeat myself with events running at such a pace. It's like a vortex leading humanity to a future of further division, hostility, and separation. And, you know, this is MLK Day. And I don't care how you feel about religion, politics, whatever. If one cannot recognize the challenge that African Americans suffered during the civil rights movement and led by Martin Luther King Jr., despite all of his flaws or his blemishes, he represents a movement of a people. And as a privileged white American male, I'm telling you, it is embarrassing, and it leaves such a bad taste in my mouth. Um, Again, I admit I didn't even know Charlie Kirk until he was already gone, as many. Um, he just wasn't on my radar. But the dude literally said that Martin Luther King was an awful person, not a good person, that he was not worthy of a national holiday. The Don removes MLK Day as one of the calendar days on that people get free access to national monuments and parks. But the Don did add his birthday as a day of national recognition. Wow. I said last week that there have been the occasional action that I'm not going to complain about, that I feel as though the President of the United States appropriately exercises the authority that is being exercised currently, but that it is the Don leaves me feeling dirty. And I've been explaining how repugnant, repulsive, and consistent, successful the guy has been. But head spinning, Venezuela, Iran, Greenland, Gaza, Russia, China, the social policies that are coming out, the closing of multiple agencies. He sees everything as a zero-sum game. It's, I need to get as much as I can, because if anybody gets anything that I don't, I'm getting less. I will mention a couple things. And the first one is this board of peace that has been advanced to address the Gaza situation. And this board of peace is comprised of the Don as permanent chairman, not the President of the United States, but the Don, who has the unilateral and sole exclusive right to appoint his successor for what is being referred to as a rival to the UN Security Council. Quote, he said that we need a more effective international peace building body, and that Gaza is going to be the first test case. I guess the biggest hard-on I have is a lack of consistency. I've said umpteen times that words are powerful, and if I can't rely on what you're telling me, what we've discussed and decided, then I feel, oh, the fool. And especially when it comes down to the President of the United States. The backdrop is just how effective these guys have been. The man is doing whatever he wants. He's executing this plan to perfection. The crazies that are out there, I mentioned some of them last, Charlie Kirk, the level, again, no matter what you think of the guy or his message, the level of effectiveness is what I think is of value there. Okay. Now, I got a list here of all of these areas that the Don has been a major bully. And whether it's the press, whether it's academia, bullying states to gerrymander so that the likelihood he can continue control persists. It's his narrative, and like I said, he is the bully. This thing in Minnesota, before I finish up with Gaza, I just wanted to put some punctuation on something I brought up last week. This fact that 6 prosecutors left the Civil Rights Division for the U.S. Attorney in the wake of the administration's decision to forego any investigation on the shooter of Ms. Good, but rather were instructed to investigate both Good and her surviving spouse. The result was that 6 prosecutors left the office, and this just perpetuates the problem, because now you've got 6 openings that Trump is going to fill with his acolytes, and a further cementing of the legacy persists. But with regard to this Gaza, it was started. The idea came out of an attempt to address the Gaza situation, but it's become a much bigger thing. This board of peace, Tony Blair, Netanyahu, the Don as permanent chair. It's an attempt to recreate the world order. This attack on Greenland, everything that one might consult as far as authority goes would indicate that the threat that's being leveraged as the reason that we need to acquire Greenland, that Russia or China or Russia and China are going to act if we don't. First of all, there's no indication of that. Secondly, because of the security agreements that exist and are in place, we have everything we need and can do anything we want in Greenland. So all of this is pretext. And by so taking these actions, Trump has once again attacked a traditional institution that it's so much easier to destroy than to create, to tear down, to rip apart rather than create. And some of which has taken place, some of the cutting of the fat, okay, maybe, but too many of these situations are ripping out the guts of the bureaucracy that services the people and provides a certain level of calm to a chaotic world. And we're spending even more money rebuilding some of the mistakes that have been made. This Gaza thing, this board of peace, I don't know where it's going, but Trump is hell-bent on ripping apart NATO, and that should scare the shit out of you. NATO has, since World War II, provided a stability that was typically has provided a stability to conflict that prior to was typically resolved with violence and warfare. So, there's 3 years till the election. That's my big push right now. And whatever current efforts are underway, I believe they need to be supercharged. So we are banging the drum, being loud, rallying the troops, bringing people together, amplifying message and impact, because there is no room for error and time is of the essence. This, my friends, is a call to action. I'm not 100% sure if I've figured out this mountain retreat studio situation. I like standing up, jumping around. Sitting down does present a different perspective. But hey, Recognizing the urgency of the moment, we are an assemblage of the aligned, willing to take personal responsibility. This, my friends, is an invitation to join the forces of good. I'm just one guy offering my opinion, trying to ring the bell and be loud, recognizing the moment and choosing to act. Our collective efforts, baby. It's a counterbalance pulling on the trajectory of our future. It can be overwhelming. You care, I care, we care. No one has to do it alone. So we help each other. Folks, you get to choose who you are. Never let anyone tell you differently. You get to decide. And in the immortal words of Charles Schultz, it's fun to have fun, but you've got to know hows, which is what we aims for around here. In our community at Labella B, we are reclaiming our sovereignty, decentralized, democratized, where aligned individuals are creating a world worthy of our children. Information can be found at labellab.com. It's time to take action, folks. No one will do it for us. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. We are not asking for permission. We are not asking for favor. We're doing it, and you're invited to join the party. Please like, share, comment. Thank you for watching. Be well. God bless. Peace out.